Dun, 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 dun. It's crypto night in Canada. Yay!
Woo!
How are you, Mario? We got Mario in the house today.
I'm
How
doing
you
great.
doing?
Thanks for having me on again. It's good to chatting again.
I know we've missed you. We were so excited to hear all about what's new at Ledden. And I just want to take a second to say hi to everybody that's in the chat. We can see Candace is here. She'll be on shortly, and Gary and Dave D. And I see Bleak784. Really want to know his or her name. Journey's here, and Ken. This is awesome. Well, welcome everybody, and it is the crypto night in Canada before Christmas. It's like the night in Canada before Christmas,
but like
crypto night in Canada. And we're babysitting a puppy, and he is a handful. So if you see us jumping up and down tonight, you just show them the little buddy here.
7 months old, and his name's Bentley,
and he's a big giant fur ball, and he's driving the other one crazy, who's right here. So in case you're wondering what's happening, if we're distracted, we have puppy madness going on over here. So without further ado, Mario, what is new over at Ledden?
What is new is we just did a dual announcement last week. The exciting but less exciting of the two announcement was that we just raised our Series B round. We raised $70 million, and we are currently valued at $540 million. And the announcement that went along with that is we just launched the world's first Bitcoin mortgage.
Excellent.
Amazing. That's really, really cool. And I can't wait to hear all about it.
Isn't that funny how the Canadians release all the cool stuff we're the first out of the gate?
It's got to be us. It's got to be us.
It is. Yeah, ETFs, you guys with the mortgage now. I mean, only in Canada.
I'm pretty sure the world's first Bitcoin ATM was Canada as well. That was in Vancouver.
ATM, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
These are, listen, we are the cool kids up here in Canada. We're cool as in cold. It's freezing here, but we're also cool.
We do punch above our weight in the Bitcoin world. It happened to be so much like the first 3 years I started getting involved in the space. I was like, oh, that guy's Canadian. I didn't know he was Canadian. Oh, he's Canadian as well. Like, we punch above our weight.
That's awesome. I just want to take a second to say hi to Joe H., who has popped over here from Nay's channel. Thanks, Nays, if you're watching. This is awesome, and welcome. Hey, there's Mark and Dawn. So this is really, really, really interesting. Dan has left a comment in here. So this is going to be the segue into to our discussion. Dan's got, he owes $95,000 on his mortgage and has $200
in Bitcoin. Wow.
Amazing.
We might need a bit more than that to help you out, but
when you got a guy like Dan and he's still got money on his mortgage left, is this the kind of guy that you want? Like, we need to understand a little bit more about the mortgage program.
Why don't you take it away and just tell us about the mortgage?
Absolutely. All right. So the Bitcoin mortgage is a blend between a Bitcoin-backed loan and a traditional mortgage. So at Ledden, we've already been offering Ledden loans, which are loans collateralized by Bitcoin, where you leave your Bitcoin with us, and we will issue you a 50% LTV loan-to-value loan. So if you collateralize $10,000 worth of Bitcoin with us, we'll issue a loan for $5,000. And whenever you pay the $5,000 plus the interest back, we can release your Bitcoin as collateral back to you. With the Bitcoin mortgage, what we do, 50% of the collateral is Bitcoin and 50% of it is real estate. So that means is if you have, $500,000 worth of Bitcoin, we can let you buy a $500,000 house without selling a single Satoshi of your coins. What happens is we take the $500,000 worth of Bitcoin as collateral. We issue you a $500,000 loan with whom to purchase real estate, and then that real estate also becomes part of the collateral. So it's 50% Bitcoin backed, 50% real estate backed. And there are a few advantages to this. So first of all, it's great if you own a bunch of Bitcoin and you want to break into real estate for the first time, but don't want to sell any of your coins for a down payment or outright. It's also for people who are currently excluded from existing mortgages. Perhaps they are retired early and don't have income. Maybe they don't have the credit score that they require. We don't need to know your income, your credit score, because we have Bitcoin, which is the world's most pristine collateral. And And then you could also use this if you already are a homeowner and you own some Bitcoin, because it's a much more stable and robust version of a Bitcoin-backed loan. One of the challenges with existing Bitcoin-backed loans on the market is that because of Bitcoin's really, really high price volatility, there is risk in terms of keeping an eye on your loan to value. So if you take out a Bitcoin-backed loan and the price crashes a bunch, you can be in danger of getting to an unhealthy loan to value. So with Ledn loans, the ones that we have right now, if you take out a loan, a Bitcoin-backed loan with us, and let's say the Bitcoin price dips, you'll start at 50% loan to value, but if the price goes down such that the amount you owe on the loan is 70% the value of the collateral, we will contact you and say, listen, you need to top up your loan and add more collateral to keep it healthier. We'll do that again at 75%, but if it gets to 80%, we are forced to take action and close the loan. With a Bitcoin mortgage, because we have real estate as collateral, and real estate's price tends to fluctuate far less than Bitcoin, this means we can tolerate much, much greater Bitcoin price volatility. Any of the numbers I say tonight are likely what we're targeting for the initial launch of the product, but they may be adjusted slightly by the time it comes out. So don't hold me to them. But what we're looking at right now is allowing the mortgage loan to the Bitcoin collateral. That's going to be 100% when we first issue it, because it'll be 50% the value of the Bitcoin and the real estate together. But initially, that means that the amount we loan is equal to the amount of Bitcoin, and we can allow the LTV to get to 300% on the Bitcoin side of things, which means that even if Bitcoin crashes, it would have to crash roughly 67% in order to hit that trigger point. And even then, because we have the real estate as collateral, we can offer a grace period. We can offer you a more generous time window for which you can top up your loan and bring it back to a healthy level. So there are a few different use cases for this. Not only is it going to allow Bitcoin holders to purchase property without selling any coins, it also means that if you're an existing user of Bitcoin-backed loans and you own real estate, you can combine the two to get a much, much more stable type of product.
That's really interesting. So I got a question that just came off the top of my head. The loan, the mortgage through Ledden is for, if I was coming, could I use that mortgage any way I wanted? Meaning, could I use it for the down payment and part, or would I have to have made a down payment on a home and then you know what I'm saying?
You don't need to already have a down payment on a home. You will be able to use this product to purchase your first home if you want.
Or a home, doesn't matter if it's first time or whatever, right?
Absolutely, yeah. If you have this will allow you to purchase real estate equal to the value of whatever Bitcoin you have available to post as collateral, and you don't need to sell the Bitcoin. So if you have $1 million worth of Bitcoin and you want to get $1 million piece of property, we are going to start with residential properties only, but in the future we may expand to commercial. But let's say you want to buy $1 million home. We take the $1 million of Bitcoin as collateral. We issue you a loan in order to buy that property, and then that property becomes part of the collateral. We do get a claim on it.
Okay. So let's have a realistic expectation of what somebody might have as an example. So say they've got one Bitcoin.
Sure.
Maybe so, and we know the price action of it today was what, 48,000 US, something like that. So is that even enough for a down payment anywhere? So say they want to put a down, so they would, so say you want to pull out all of the Bitcoin equity, 48,000. Maybe they've got 48,000 in collateral, like cash somewhere. So they've got 100,000 more or less as the down payment, and then they go to buy a $500,000 place or something. So I'm just trying to walk through how an average person that would be able to take advantage of this.
So early on, this is going to be for people who have Bitcoin that is equal to the value of the entire value of the home. The reason that you're not going to be able to use this just to get enough for the down payment, because if you're making a down payment for an existing mortgage, with a traditional bank, they have a claim on the house, and then we can't also have a claim on the house. So early on, this is going to be, and again, we've had a tremendous amount of demand for this, like including from people who already have, Bitcoin equal to the full value of a home. So that's what we'll be servicing it first. In the future, we can look at, versions of this where, let's say someone is already a homeowner, and they want to, and they have, a Bitcoin equal to 10% the value of their home, then we could look at accepting the real estate as collateral, and then it would essentially be over collateralized because they have a smaller amount of Bitcoin in there, and we would issue a loan equal to the amount of Bitcoin. But initially, this is going to be for people who have Bitcoin that's going to be worth the same value as the entire value of the property. But yeah, we're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to use a Bitcoin mortgage in order to finance a traditional mortgage at the same time at your home, because that would require both us and the bank that's servicing your mortgage to both have a claim on the property, which doesn't work.
Okay, so we've had a few comments. So one of the comments from our friend Gary Matthews is, what percentage to borrow your Bitcoin for a home? It would be 100%.
What percentage? I believe he's asking about the interest rate. It says, what's the rate percentage to borrow your Bitcoin?
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, so right now, we can't commit to any hard numbers, but the interest rate is going to be in between existing rates for Bitcoin-backed loans and for traditional mortgages. Again, this is a blend of the two products, which is why the interest rate will be somewhere in between those two. So right now, for existing Bitcoin-backed loans, you're looking at something around like 11%, on 11.5% for a lot of these Bitcoin-backed loans, and traditional mortgages, depending where you are, might be 5-6% or something. We're looking at an interest rate in between those two. Again, because we are financing this half on the Bitcoin side, half of it's Bitcoin collateral, half of it's real estate. At the beginning, it will be closer to the interest rate from Ledn loans, from Bitcoin-backed loans, but still lower. Over time, as we get more of the infrastructure built out for financing based on the real estate, we do expect the interest rate to move closer to comparable interest rates for traditional mortgages. The thing is, like right now, like we're already experienced in the Bitcoin lending space, so we have all the infrastructure built out for financing based on Bitcoin. So we are going to be leaning more heavily on that initially, which is why the rate will start out closer to Bitcoin-backed loans, but still cheaper.
So, Mario, you have a program that's in place with Ledden right now, where when you put your Bitcoin with Ledden, there is a APY on it. Are you able to collect that as you're doing this mortgage? Meaning, are you getting the best of both worlds here?
Yeah. So you're asking about our BTC savings product, where if you don't need a loan but you want to earn some extra cash flow on your Bitcoin, you can deposit it with us. And what we do is we lend the coins out and we pass on the yield to you. So right now you can earn up to 6.25% APY by depositing Bitcoin with us. Once that Bitcoin becomes part of collateral, no, you are no longer accepting, you're no longer being paid interest on it. The reason for that is that that's one of the ways that we bring the cost of interest down.
Right.
If you because if we weren't, we're taking that collateral and we're using it to generate yield, and that's one of the things that helps us finance the loan. Oh, you've gone silent.
We've just
I can hear you again.
We've just lost our we have a dog sitting on the cord. Can you hear us okay now?
Loud and clear.
Okay, so Gary Matthews has a good point, but I think there's a missing piece, Gary. So he says the rate to borrow for his mortgage right now is 1.75%. So what would my benefit to go with Ledden? I think the main benefit, and maybe Mario, I'm wrong on this, but if I'm guessing what the main benefit would be, is that you don't actually have to cash any of your Bitcoin out to do this, which would be a taxable event and cause a big capital gains, which when you have a capital gains, you're going to lose a giant chunk of the value of that Bitcoin that you're sitting with. So like right now, if you could be at a 40% tax bracket in some cases. So then capital gains is 50% of that then you got the 43% of the 50. You're losing a chunk of money. This is allowing you to double up on your assets without triggering a capital gains. Is that sort of the idea?
That's correct. That's one of the reasons. It simply means you don't have to sell your Bitcoin. And aside from the capital gains, if you are bullish on the price of Bitcoin, by collateralizing it instead of selling it, you can still lock in further price increases. And again, the other reasons are, again, if you're a person who has an income and you have excellent credit and you have the down payment in cash and you don't feel the need to put that into Bitcoin, then yeah, maybe a traditional mortgage is better for you. But if you're a person who would rather, instead of paying that down payment in cash, would rather hold Bitcoin, this is something that you would be looking at.
So you're doubly growing your asset. You're growing your Bitcoin asset at the same time as you're growing your real estate asset.
Absolutely, and you get the benefits of both. Bitcoin has a lot more potential upside than real estate. I think that's not too controversial thing to say. And real estate tends to be much more stable over time, which makes the loan a lot more easy to manage.
I think just thinking that it would probably be easy. Well, I mean, the people in this space usually are trying to get out of the financial institutions and dealing with them and so on and so forth. So this now becomes their alternative to not having to deal with a bank. And I would imagine not as many hoops and stuff to jump through. Because you're holding the baby and the bathwater, right?
Exactly. Because we have Bitcoin as collateral, there's a lot of information about you that we don't need to know. We really only collect the minimal information required on our clients. We really value our clients' privacy. And that's another reason people prefer to use, not only Ledn, but, Bitcoin services at large. So we don't care what your income is. We don't care what your credit score is. That's really none of our business.
That's really, really cool. Now, do we have any, I'm just trying to read through all the comments to see if there's any specific questions regarding this program.
Yeah, there's a great question about monthly payments from Dan. So monthly payments on this will just cover the interest. You do not pay down the principal. So because of that, there's no collateral to receive back. So you just only need to pay interest. Pay monthly payments on the interest.
Okay, that's interesting. So walk me through that. You're okay. Let me think that one through. So because you're putting your Bitcoin and you have all the collateral already.
Well, let's do the $500,000 home example. So you have $500,000 worth of Bitcoin. You open a Bitcoin mortgage. We issue a $500,000 loan, and then you buy a $500,000 house. Then every month, you will need to pay just the interest on the principal. So, for simplicity's sake, let's just, assume it's 1% a month. It's actually going to be, less than that. But for simplicity's sake, let's say it's 1% a month. That'd be $5,000 a month that you would pay just to cover the interest. At the end of the term, which is 2 years at present, the amount outstanding on the loan will be the exact same as the day you opened it. And you'll still have your real estate and your Bitcoin in collateral.
But how do you ever pay that money back? I'm not sure about that.
Right. So they're at the end of the year, we can appraise the value of the home, and we'll reassess the value of the Bitcoin as collateral, and we can readjust. So if the value of the collateral has gone up, we can release more of the Bitcoin back to you. And yeah, and again, it's up to you when you want to pay back the principal. But yeah, there isn't currently the monthly interest payments aren't for paying down the principal. Instead, you can save that money elsewhere, save it up over time. But yeah, and keep in mind as well, this is the initial launch of the product. We're looking at a 2-year term. 2 years from now, based on the response, there's a lot of demand for this. So we're, I'll be pretty surprised if we're not offering this and kind of more variations of it within the next few years. Can't guarantee any timelines at present, but hopefully you can roll this over into, you could roll it over into existing Bitcoin-backed loan and pay down the principal amount, and then you'll fully own the home if you want. But yeah, that's going to depend on the situation of the client taking out the mortgage.
Yeah. So Ken's just saying, so the minimum payment required is just the interest.
For the monthly payments, that's the only payment you need to make. Yeah.
And then as you just, sorry, before you get on to Dan's question. In that scenario, my $500,000 home increases in value. Maybe it goes up to $550,000 after 2 years, 1 year, whatever.
Yeah.
So now we go back to you. We say, okay, so now my loan value gets reduced by that 50,000 because the collateral is taking over. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to use this example with Bitcoin because the Bitcoin price is likely to fluctuate a lot more than the value of the home. So, let's say the value of Bitcoin doubles over the course of those 2 years. Now you're way over collateralized. We can release a bunch of the Bitcoin collateral back to you. We can't really release 10% of your home back to you. So it's a little bit different on that end. But at the end of that 2 years, you'd be rolling it into a new mortgage if you're continuing with us, and then we would simply reassess the value and from there.
So, and that's a good point, Mario, and that comes back to my question, is that if it's appreciating and you release Bitcoin back, right? Mm-hmm. Then staying within the Ledn platform, you're able to go back over to the APY side of it.
Exactly. Release.
Yeah. And then that's when I got it. Yeah. Okay.
When we release collateral back to our clients, what happens is it just simply moves to their BTC savings, which means that from the day it's there, it just starts earning interest for you. And if you want to withdraw it to your own custody or to some other platform or use it, yeah, you can do that.
Do you mean there's people that actually cash in their Bitcoin?
I've heard there are some people who sell their Bitcoin, but
not watching this show, I hope.
I don't know what they're doing.
Dan has a question. So if somebody's already got an existing mortgage, is it possible for them to switch over to you?
Yeah, I mean, it would depend on a few other factors at play. But yeah, if you have an existing mortgage, talk to our team. We would have to look at your particular situation. I don't know of the specific mechanisms by which we would do it at this point. But if we can issue a loan that would be enough to cover that mortgage, so you could fully pay it off, which shouldn't be a problem when you have Bitcoin, then yeah, I would imagine we would be able to help you out. But for your particular situation, get on the waiting list. I don't know if I said this yet, but we have more details on. I should share my screen. That's what I got to do here. We just launched our the product page for this. So if you check out mortgage.ledden.io, this is what it looks like. And, there's just, a basic overview of the product. And if you're interested in it, you can get on the list here. Just give us your first and last name, your email, your state or province, the country, and the estimated value of the property. This is no commitment. We don't even take your credit card or anything, but just let us know you're interested. And then this will start a dialogue. We'll get back to you with some more information soon. And that's, you can ask, questions about hey, in my personal situation, I have have an existing mortgage. How could it work about paying it off? It's going to depend on the jurisdiction as well. But yeah, if you are potentially interested in this, we're starting with Ontario. I don't know if we have people outside Ontario, but if you give us feedback by signing up here, that'll help us know which regions to prioritize expanding into next.
I think the one question we had from Nate is, I guess, a bit of protection on his part was, is there insurance, or how is it if something happened to Ledn?
So yeah, at the moment we don't have we have insurance when it comes to, we use BitGo as our custodian. They do insured custody there, but that is only for a fraction of the funds. Okay. At the point right now, we are simply very well capitalized. This is why we raised that huge round. And again, a lot of the answers I give to this will be the same as I would give to questions about our existing products, Ledn loans, Ledn savings. We only work with very well vetted institutional partners. Our Bitcoin is lent out through Genesis Capital, who've been a very well established player. They're highly transparent. They issue quarterly reports. We do every 6 months, we do proof of reserves where we anonymize our data to protect client privacy, and then pass our books over to Armanino LLP, an accounting firm, and they make sure that all of our assets and liabilities are in order. You can get an anonymized hash ID and confirm with them that your balance and your account are properly accounted for. So we have all these mechanisms in place, but there aren't actually there aren't actually. We're not at the point now where there's broad insurance, this type of product, just like with traditional mortgages.
Well, you're in the infancy stage of everything, right?
Absolutely. I mean, again, like remember, like Bitcoin's been around like what, just over a decade. Ledn, we've been operating for 3 years, which is funny because like it feels like we're one of the OGs in terms of lenders. Like we were one of the first to start offering this type of product, and now a lot of other people are getting in. But 3 years in Bitcoin is a long time. But if we zoom out, these things are brand new. World's first.
Whenever you've got something that is brand new, there's always going to be hiccups, bumps. There's going to be stuff that happens. But what's really exciting is that you're pushing the envelope, and you're developing, and you're trying to be first to the market with something. And
they are first to the market.
No, I know, but honestly, that being first means you're cutting the path for everybody else. And I think as a society, we need to cut innovators some slack and give them some runway to develop, because it's only through innovation that we advance as a society. And so I know that there's a lot of people in the comments that have concerns and that there could be some red flags for, but you know what? I have faith that you guys will work through it, because it's still new.
It's kind of ironic. The people who have concerns about the mortgage and you're investing in cryptocurrencies, give your head a shake. And you can't have it both ways, folks.
Yeah,
that's all right though. Like it's understandable though. I mean, we launched this product a week ago. So a lot of people are going to have skepticism early on, but like based on the people we already got in the waiting list, we're going to have enough people are more than happy to be our first clients for this. And if you're concerned, just wait and see what they say about the product, because it is looking like we're going to have some pretty high profile people being in the first cohort.
Excellent.
And so you should get some reviews from people who are directly using it. Yeah.
Well, and I wish I had more than I do in order to do it
myself. All I'm
myself.
saying is I hope Bitcoin tanks so I can buy more to get a mortgage, because once what goes down will go up, and this is going to be a boomer, boys.
So question one before we bring our friend Ryan on. So it says Joe puts in, does Ledden need a property evaluation? And so how does that work?
Yeah, we will get an appraisal of the property when the loan is open, just to make sure it is the value of it is accurately assessed, and then we do reserve the right to do that. After 1 year, we can appraise it again. That's in line with what we were saying before, just check on the health of the collateral. That's going to happen.
That, what's interesting with what you just said? Do you know in the traditional banking system, here's the thing. This is what I find fascinating. And I was a banker, and I held one of my first roles at the bank was I held non-negotiable security. So we were checking mainly for businesses that had put up properties to collateralize themselves. And so we were, as a business loan against a business property, we were checking on it more frequently. You homeowners get a mortgage, and nobody really goes back and reassesses unless somebody wants more money. They're not checking on that property. How does the bank know that somebody hasn't totally let their property go to rack and ruins and go undervalued? The bank is just assuming that everything's going up because all boats rise in a rising tide. But my goodness, I bet you there's some pretty gnarly properties out there.
Yeah, I can't claim to be able to come up here and explain what the banks are doing.
Yeah,
right.
No, I know. So, we had Ryan in the waiting in the wings, but he's just stepped away for a second. So I want to just, is there anything else with regards to your product that you want to reiterate or talk about before we bring Ryan in? Because I know he's got some questions.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Come check us out. One thing I would say is, if you're because understanding this product sometimes leans on the fact that it's 50% Bitcoin-backed loans. If you are interested in this, also check out just our other loan products, Ledden loans. We have dollar loans or B2X loans. It's a $500 minimum, so it's not nothing, but it's actually quite a small minimum compared to a lot a lot of other products in the market there. But yeah, like come check out how to use a Bitcoin-backed loan. We can either send you dollars for it, or you can use B2X loans. Allows you to double your Bitcoin exposure. But if you're curious to know more how the Bitcoin side of things works there, but I'll quit with that plug.
No, I love it.
No, it's good. This is why we have you on, because this is Canadian, and there's not a lot of options for the Canadian side of it. And we love having you on, and we love what Ledden does.
Yeah, I just wanted to say hi to Ryan because he joined us.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Doing well. How about you?
Pretty good. The interesting thing is with this, and I've noticed a few of the comments going by, people assuming that this is a finished product kind of thing are totally kind of, I think, missing the point where this is a world's first launch, right? So for me, I wouldn't have any questions if I wasn't interested. I've got a ton of questions, but I think a lot more of my questions will be answered in 2022 as you guys start rolling it out and start having those testimonial experiences and stuff. Because one of my questions, I was curious, I remember you were mentioning it. So if Bitcoin shoots up, you get some of that Bitcoin back, right? Is that an automatic process? Because I could see that maybe depending on the volatility of Bitcoin being kind of annoying if you had to go back and forth, or is it kind of voluntary?
It's not going to be an automatic process. No, there's going to be an option to kind of reassess at the end of 1 year. And then, if you do find that you're over collateralized on the Bitcoin side of things, then we can look into releasing some of it back to you. But no, as you said, with something as volatile, Bitcoin is gradually stabilizing over time. But it wouldn't be practical to do that automatically at this point in time.
Cool, man. Yeah, that was pretty much my only real question. I'm just excited to see it roll out. There was a bunch of things like withdraw times, this and this. After reviewing it and really just thinking, I don't think Ledden is about as competitive as possibly could be on that front.
I actually asked specifically if you were going to be on because I wanted to address your questions on that. Because I saw the last time you guys talked about us on here, you had some questions about withdrawal, so I wanted to make time if you wanted to
go for it, dude. Because I noticed I'll give you my experience with the American competitor. It's been anywhere from 2 days to 5 or 6 days kind of thing. It's never been easy. It's never been instant. But go right ahead. I've just signed up for Ledden about 10 days ago, so I don't have experience withdrawing or anything. But
tell me you used my referral link.
No.
Hello.
Sorry, I totally forgot, dude. We'll figure out a way to get the code and figure that out. Okay, we'll figure it out, man.
We'll
get on that, way, Mario. Get on. Oh my god. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you. That was bad. I'm sorry, but
no, that's his fault. That's his fault. That's he should have used your code.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
You should have just lied, Ryan. You should have just lied. Yeah, of course I used your code. Yeah.
They would know.
So so that's because I remember you'd mentioned that you'd be concerned about BlockFi withdrawal times, so the reason I believe you said I'd given a non-answer when I was asked that before, and the thing is we guarantee withdrawal within 7 days. The reason I don't like saying that early on is because that's not really indicative of how fast withdrawals are. The vast majority of our withdrawals are processed within 1 day, including on weekends. On occasion, it can take longer, but it's definitely not going to be the norm where you're using us and you frequently have to wait 2, 3, 4, 5 days. We generally do it. We generally are pretty clockwork about it. But again, it's not a guarantee. In some circumstances, it can take longer, but you're looking, normally it'll get withdrawn by the next day.
I know that when I first asked this question forever ago, I don't even know how long ago, how I view BlockFi now versus how I viewed it when I was I'm still getting to know things, right? I feel like I was treating it or looking at it a little bit more like an exchange when it really isn't. So I was kind of expecting a lot out of it when I wasn't getting it. I was putting the same issues onto Ledden, not really getting maybe the difference. So that's why for me, it's not really an issue anymore. I know there's heavy times. I mean, if Bitcoin goes through a crash, I doubt I'll have my withdrawal in a day just because of volume, right? But then you swap off to stablecoin. So or whatever, right? But again, I don't know if Ledden could even be any more competitive than they already are, just at least with what I know from BlockFi with Ledden so far. But I'm glad you got into that, dude.
Mario,
I was just saying, the main explanation for that is that exchanges tend to be, again, a lot more for kind of traders, and we're not a wallet. We are generally for for products that are oriented towards long-term usage. And security is our number, like security of client assets is like top priority for us. We've never lost a single Satoshi of client funds, and we intend to keep it that way. And so, yeah, sometimes, there is a bit of convenience sacrifice for that. But yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Read Ken's question. What's the max amount of USDC that can be placed in a savings account?
There is no max amount. Just send it right on over. Like if
so that $50 burning a hole in your pocket, Ken, go for it. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
it's we can take $50. Yeah, we can. If you are concerned that it's too much, don't worry. We'll take it.
So I got a question, and it might not. Or sorry, my bad. Sorry, Tim, you were about to say something.
With the other product, with BlockFi, when I want to transfer it out of BlockFi and put in a someone I'm transferring it to, takes 7. Like if I was to transfer it to the bank or whatever, it takes 7 days for them to actually validate that. Is that the same time that Ledden has, or?
If you're withdrawing what? Because
so if I was taking USDC, wanted to put it back to my bank.
Well, banks don't accept USDC.
Well, he wants to cash out his USDC.
Yeah. So at present, Ledden is not an on-ramp. So like we don't allow you to trade between cryptocurrency and fiat currency at present. Yeah.
I got to rethink that question. I got to rethink that question.
That was part of what I was going to ask outside of the on-ramp. You kind of hinted to the for now thing. What do you guys we got the Bitcoin mortgage, looking for that, and obviously Q1 and maybe the on-ramp soon enough. Like what is outside of those two things? Any big bangers coming out in 2022?
Nothing I can say more about at present.
You son of a gun.
But you know what? But like this is how we do the surprises, like the Bitcoin mortgage. We keep it under wraps.
And I should know this question, Mario, but is Ledden traded on the stock exchange? Are you private?
We're still private. Like I mentioned before that we just raised our Series B. So we still are in startup mode. So we're not available. We're not publicly traded at present, and it looks like it's going to be some time before that happens.
Okay. Jason Spooner had a question. He says, does Ledden have a limit on Bitcoin's rate? Now, what he means by that is that he's got a follow up here. BlockFi's rate drops after 0.1 of a Bitcoin. So I guess what they're trying to understand is it a straight rate across? Do you have a tiered rate? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so it's also someone else asking just about an overview of Ledden products. I'm just going to do that real quick, and then I'll get to that specific one.
Yep.
So like we've got two main product families. We have Ledden Savings and Ledden Loans. So Ledden Loans, we've talked about a lot more here already. Bitcoin mortgage is part of that. We have dollar loans. You collateralize Bitcoin, we'll send you dollars or USDC. Whenever you pay back, Bitcoin goes back. Bitcoin is in your control again. We have B2X loans, are essentially a specialized type of Bitcoin-backed loan, but you use the dispersed loan to buy more Bitcoin added to your collateral. So it's a way of doubling the amount of Bitcoin exposure you have. And then our kind of our simpler products are Ledden Savings, where you deposit Bitcoin or USDC with us, and we start paying you interest on it right away. For USDC, as I said earlier, we'll pay 9.5% on that. There's no limit, no tiers. However much USDC you deposit with us, that's how much you're going to get paid, like 9.5% on that from the day it's deposited until the day it's withdrawn. For Bitcoin, we offer 6.25% APY on the first half Bitcoin you deposit on platform. Anything over a half Bitcoin, we pay 2.25% on. So there's two tiers there.
Ryan, I know you got a question. I can feel it. Whoops, you're on mute. You're on mute.
I know this might come out of left field for Bitcoin maxis and stuff, but do you have any plans for ETH?
Yeah, I can't put any timeline on it, but we get asked that question a lot, and
you're thinking about it. You're working on it.
Yeah,
it's in conversation.
Yeah,
it's on the table. It's in the roadmap.
I'm trying to remember what I'm allowed to say is actually what I'm thinking about.
Okay, well, that should be an answer.
That's enough of a clue.
I only
Yeah,
have
thank you.
BlockFi.
Well,
Yeah, no, I
listen,
agree.
listen.
Yeah, you're good.
You
You're
got
good. You're good.
Jason Spooner. Look at this. He's wanting to move his over tomorrow. There you go, Mario.
Use,
It's worth.
use their referral link.
Use my
there's a
referral link
referral
below.
link
Be
down
a better
below.
friend than Ryan. That's what you
No,
gotta
Ryan's
do.
a great friend. Oh, Ryan. Oh, good grief.
We have to tease him. Otherwise, he's going to think that he's perfect.
It's
and
tough
we,
to get
'cause we
dad
know
jokes
he
out
is,
of here,
but
so I got to revert somehow.
That's right. That's right. Now this is unlike Ryan. I will use Tim. Okay, that's
enough
enough.
beating up on Ryan,
That's right.
everybody.
I'm so sorry.
It's
Oh,
Christmas
don't
time.
have to
Everybody be
sorry
nice to
God.
Ryan.
by any means. That was my
Ryan,
bad.
go on the offensive. Start dropping your own referral link and see if
Yeah.
they'll
Oh,
use
it's going to
that
be
instead of
dropped
theirs.
so freaking hard by December 31st. It's not even funny. Just watch out.
Don't give him a contest, for God's sake. He'll kick our butts.
Oh, yes, he
Jesus,
will.
that's where I got to get it. One referral, and then I'm good.
That's it.
I'm good. I just one, because he can have the other 9,099.
No.
Oh my gosh, we're just silly.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you, Mario. Gingerbread or shortbread? Which
Oh,
one?
for God's sake.
Gingerbread. Yeah, definitely more of a gingerbread guy.
There you go. Ryan, gingerbread or shortbread?
Shortbread.
Oh, Timmer.
That looked like it came right out of Tim's mouth when that happened, actually. Oh, did it? It did. Okay.
We have Bentley. Bentley barks at everything. Which is it? Gingerbread or shortbread?
What was the first one?
Gingerbread or shortbread?
Shortbread.
Okay,
Oh.
sorry. Can we actually? A question did pop into my head because I think this is the one thing that I noticed. Where you were?
Is it going to be about gingerbread?
No, it's going to be about
Okay.
paying off the principal on your mortgage for Ledden
Sure.
mortgage, right? So
Right,
I just kind of want to get back to that because I was kind of in and out in the back room here.
Sure.
But realistically, so we're not paying off our principal on. So at the end of the day, how do you own your home and get out of this loan? I guess at the end of the day, if you're just, because I know the whole interest thing, it's big in private lending. At least I know that. So but to be applied to a house, I haven't actually seen it happen. So I'm just curious how you actually get out of it, or can you pay more, or I don't know if you're only paying interest.
Yeah, I mean, well, the simplest way to do it would just be to save up enough to pay down the entire principal amount. The other thing you could do is, if at some point in the future, you could choose to actually just sell the Bitcoin portion of the collateral to cover the cost. Maybe someone might be using this mortgage because they expect the Bitcoin price to rise a lot over several years, and then it does, and then once they've done that, they pay down the loan by selling just enough of the Bitcoin collateral to cover it, and then they keep the excess if the price has gone up. There are other things you could do, like we could roll it over into a Bitcoin-backed loan. Maybe there's someone who's acquired more Bitcoin that's gone up in value. You could roll it over into a one of Ledden's dollar loans, and then we could issue the full amount backed fully by the Bitcoin. But yeah, like currently there isn't a mechanism with the initial launch of the product. There's not going to be a mechanism to gradually pay down the principal.
Okay, so let's say, for instance, Bitcoin drops, we get a little bit of a covered or a little bit of a call, for instance. We have a grace period that's very, very gracious and great that you guys do that. But let's just say we get that call, for instance. Can I put in now a little bit of Bitcoin and take a B2X loan to double my money and use that now to collateralize my margin call? And
You
maybe
can't do
cut
that.
in half?
You can't do that because with the B2X loan, the B2X loan already uses the Bitcoin in it as collateral.
No,
So
I'm
the
saying like
B2X
put in new Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like as opposed to say I have to cover.
you could add collateral. Like if you already own extra Bitcoin waiting in the wings, maybe it's in your BTC savings and Ledden earning interest, maybe it's on your hardware wallet. You could always add that to the collateral to top up and keep the loan healthy, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking so that I don't owe the full Bitcoin. Can I take out a half a Bitcoin BTX loan and then use your half to satisfy my margin call and then keep, you know what I mean? Have kind of a separate loan open. I know that would be double dipping the chip a little bit, but.
So when you open a B2X loan, we don't actually send you the Bitcoin, right? The way the B2X loan works is that
I have no idea.
The newly purchased Bitcoin is automatically added to that loan's collateral. So because that's already being used as collateral for another loan, you can't also use that as collateral for a Bitcoin mortgage.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not 100% sure I understood the question, so I hope.
No, I'm saying like two separate deposits of Bitcoin kind of thing. And like with my brand new, let's say I margin called, I owe a half a Bitcoin. So instead of putting in another half a Bitcoin, for instance, I put in a quarter Bitcoin, and with that quarter that's not collateralized elsewhere, I can't.
You can't do that because in that case it would be collateralized twice. Once in the B2X. Once in the
No, I feel you.
Nice try though.
That's right. I was catching what you were throwing, Ryan.
Honestly, I like the fact that like when people think and ask these questions, because there was a bunch of questions very similar to this that actually was the initial kind of spark that led to the Bitcoin mortgage. It was a longstanding client of ours who was really interested in finding ways to adjust collateral to make it more robust against price swings, and that's actually where the original idea came from, rather than starting with hey, let's figure out how to buy people a home.
Oh, that's cool.
So keep it up. Keep pitching these.
Ken had a question about time frame to request USDC back to your own wallet. Like he's saying, maybe 500,000 worth. How long will it take for, like, if I say, okay, I want $500,000 worth of Bitcoin back. I'm going to put it in my hardware wallet. What does that look like?
USDC. If he's holding USDC with Ledden, and all of a sudden he says he wants to transfer the USDC from Ledden to wherever.
So I guess the question is, how long would it take to withdraw $500,000 worth
to land in the new wallet?
I can say that, again, the vast majority of our withdrawals are processed within a day. For 500,000 specifically, I mean, 500,000 is
a lot.
Like we have number. Well, it's actually kind of in between in that we have cracked 1.7 billion assets on platform, so that is a relatively small chunk of that. So I expected something that we could service pretty quickly, but I can't make that promise that it would be a one-day withdrawal right away. But again, like we do sometimes, we do get large withdrawals like that, and the vast majority of them we are able to process quite quickly.
Excellent. Well, we're going to add another person to our stream. Got Neil in the house. How are you, Neil?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Good. We're talking Bitcoin and Bitcoin loans with our friend Mario from Ledden right now. Do you have any questions about a Bitcoin loan? Have you ever thought about that? And if you have nothing, that's fine. We can start to think about other conversations.
Not really. I came in at the very end, so and
okay.
I don't know much about it, so I'll just sit here and listen.
Okay, perfect.
Did we? I don't know if I missed it. Did we point the people in the direction though for Mario's waitlist? I know I gave it to you guys like a week or two ago, but does your crew have the waitlist available?
It is.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it earlier. It's mortgage.ledden.io. So okay. I can definitely.
Mortgage. Hang on, I didn't put that up. Hang on. Hold on.
I will type it.
We'll put it up.
Hang on,
we'll type it in. Just 1 second.
Mortgage.
And Mario, if you ever feel like popping on my channel, feel free to message me anytime, man.
Or Mario,
I left it in the private chat.
Oh,
yeah.
Just 1 second.
One second, I'll post it up here.
But yeah, Ryan, would love to have a conversation sometime.
I'm one of those guys. I'm perfectly honest. I'm a little bit of the skeptic on the crypto side. It takes a little bit for me to get involved, but once I'm there kind of thing. I know for me, if you can believe it, I mainly Bitcoin. I've got some ETH, obviously. I just started dabbling in comic book VV stuff, rocking, but it took me a year just to get down this road. But anyway, they got the link there for the crew listening, mortgage.ledden.io. It's not linked on their Ledden page, their normal. I don't know if it is yet. Actually,
it will be soon.
It is. I actually was pooching around. I think it's towards the bottom.
I don't know if it's on their main page yet.
Yeah, maybe
No, that's possibly by the time people are watching this later on, it will be there. No, that's something we've assigned some elves hard at work pushing that through.
And I know one of my last questions to you, because I know we got Neil here too, but one of my last questions to you, bro. So when do we have some of these tests, kind of not guinea pigs, but when do we have these first kind of the throw of people coming in, these big hitters kind of thing, who are going to be able to actually provide some of these testimonials? I don't know. I want to see the walkthrough. I'm just one of those guys.
Absolutely.
But...
I mean, okay. I shouldn't say any names. But we're currently we've had a draft of the earliest ones as early as I think 2 months ago, and so the first Ontario Bitcoin mortgages are currently being drawn up. It's
Oh,
possible
wow.
the first one's all it's possible the first one's already signed. I don't actually know 100% for sure, but we should be seeing some of those soon.
Cool. That's cool.
Well, welcome, Candace.
Oh, hello.
Hello. You got your holly jolly Santa hat on tonight. So I wondered, I know you've been watching because you were making comments in the chats. Do you have any questions for Mario regarding this?
Not so much a question, more of a comment. Just the fact that you don't have a mechanism to actually start taking down the principal. I think that's something that you guys may want to look into, because it may be unrealistic for some people to have to sort of save up for a large amount that principal could be to pay off at once. So I think if you really want to get people more attracted to the service, have some kind of mechanism that they can, whether it be they pay twice as much, something to eat away at that principal so that they can do that over time.
I will say this though too, thinking about the fact that they just raised Series B funding right now, it costs a hell of a lot less to facilitate someone who doesn't need that kind of accommodation in the first place. So it totally makes sense that they would be going for a type of group that doesn't need this whatsoever, and this issue is a non-issue. I, again, totally agree with Candace, but I've got tons of faith that they're going to work that out. I mean, you wouldn't make money tailoring it to the retail trader right now anyway. So I don't really expect you to do that until you've got the kinks worked out, but I'm excited for it. I want to see how it works out with some of the guys who are rolling high right now, and then what gets figured out. I'm excited for it. But I agree 100% with Candace though.
Yeah, that's a great comment, and like that actually, that's great feedback for our team. So like, even though, as you say, like initially the initial roll of the product, the first people who use it are never necessarily representative of the broader market. They are in some ways, and they're going to help us, iron out a lot of kinks. But that's great feedback. And again, this is just the initial version that we're talking about here. The first one on the market, and I'll be pretty surprised if in a few years we don't have several different versions of this that can tailor to different clients.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Mario, you're more than welcome to stay and listen to us banter back and forth about NFTs, crypto horse racing. Like, we just shoot the breeze about projects and stuff. But I know you're a very busy guy, so I wanna let you know up front that you're more than welcome to stay. But we want to thank you if you want.
I'll stick around for a bit. We can hang out.
Excellent. Okay, so I want to jump in for a minute and ask Neil, have you got any updates on your ponies? What's going on?
Did you buy any reindeer?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any reindeer for sale yet, but I definitely would scoop one up if available.
Maybe we need to start the trend on that one.
Well, I'm just trying to scoop up. I'm on a mailing list for some horses, so I'm just watching a ticker go down, and I'm trying to be a big jerk and put in an offer with less than 60 seconds left to see if I can scoop up a horse. So that's what I'm doing right now in the background. And
nice.
I've been super. I don't want to jinx it, but I've been super lucky with Vivi.
You son of a bitch. Dude,
I've gotten every drop this week so far.
Dude, what is it? Do you have an Apple phone? Is that what it is?
No, I'm an Android. Yeah.
I can't get a single one.
I think it might have something to do. Like, I'm actually I take my break at work, and I wonder if it's because it's got a strong network. So I don't know, but this one was actually a few minutes after it already sold out. And they call it a rebound, and I just happened to get one. So
look at that. Dalge says he missed it, and whenever it try to succeed, what's your tip for landing a VV drop? So,
you know what? I just log in my phone early, and I put on, like I said earlier, the airplane mode, and I make sure that I'm sitting down about 3 or 4 minutes before. And today I was eating an apple and having some water and just watching the ticker. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And about 3 minutes after it sold out, I hit it again and it went through. And just, I guess, lucky, So I got a Walt Disney Mickey I got a common one, but right now just looking on, I think it was $300 they were going through for already. So I'm going to hold on to that one just because I've done pretty well lately. And I actually, the guru's now on VV, and I sent him one of my comics today.
Amazing.
So I'm converting him very slowly.
How's negotiations going with Netflix for that new show called Horse of Cards?
I don't think I'd be involved, but I'd love to say I would be.
Well,
So,
the freaking Oracle thinks you need to have your own YouTube channel, and it's going to be horse in 60 seconds.
Apparently, both of those shows did horrible in the Gallup polls.
Oh, and Jason Spooner says Seabiscuit in the 5 is the best tip. Oh my gosh.
Mario, you don't dabble in that stuff, do you?
In NFTs and stuff?
Yeah.
Not a lot. I do a podcast with a few friends called the Unhashed Podcast, and we make these absolutely brilliant, and by brilliant I mean really cheaply photoshopped cover image art for for each episode. And some of our fans requested we sell them as NFTs, so we just do it as like a kind of a way to fund the show. But that's been my only experience with them so far.
Oh, I love it.
That's
I
cool.
love it. You
What's
should
it
put
called?
in your
What
private
was that called?
private chat what your
Unhashed.
Yeah, sure. The Unhashed Podcast. It's heavily R rated. Just a heads up, people.
Oh, okay.
So it's
That's all right. We have
it's
another one
pretty
of those that we deal with too.
pretty rough and tumble. But yeah, we actually talk about NFTs more and more these days. It's surprising because we
Yeah.
kind of started out being a little bit dismissive of them, and we found a decent portion of our listener base was pretty into them, and had some fun back and forths between making strong statements on the show and getting blowback from the fans, and then but yeah, I mean, give us a look if you guys like I don't know, Bitcoin talk and I guess just really immature bar humor.
Oh, we like immature bar humor. That happens a lot around here. Usually on the freaking Oracle's channels when the Unhashed bar the bar chatter happens. So just wanted to go through and see I know Candace has done my favorite thing, which is she's put in the top 10 list for the meta coins and the metaverse. Are you ready to do that, Candace, and run through with us?
I'm always ready.
Yes, you are. Okay, the metaverse top 10. Drum roll.
Here we go. So this week it's actually looking a lot better. We don't have everything all in red like we had the last couple of weeks. There's a lot of changes in the top 10 this week. So let's kick it off with number 10. It's a coin called Radio Kaka.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Their symbol is RACA, and they were up a big 21.9% over the week. Now,
So wait, let's ask him, what does it do?
What is it? Yeah, what does it do?
I'm about to tell you that.
Okay.
All right. So they boast that their UI is like Google Earth. So it's a spinning globe. You can zoom in on different locations in their metaverse. It is a 3D virtual planet. You can, of course, buy land, build stores, art galleries. You can also create your own or play games as well. So they got a little bit of everything going on in Radio Kaka, which is the first of our new coins for this week.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, okay. So is Radio Kaka available? Can we go on and play in that metaverse now, or is it because my friend Alice or my neighbor Alice, that one I still can't get in to see what it's all about.
No, the Alice one won't be available till the spring. This one, I do believe you can get in. I think it's at least a beta access at this point. Like most of these are beta access, except for a few of them, which are already running.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go the right way. Our next one, Merit Circle, MC. They were up a whopping 49.1%. They boast themselves as a high play-to-earn economy. They are incredibly different because with Merit Circle, what you're doing in there is you're earning these coins as scholars, and these scholars are playing Axie Affinity.
Oh,
So you're actually using this coin to get players who are really good at Axie Infinity. So they're also, while they're doing that, they're also earning the Axie. So they're earning AXS at the same time. So it's almost like you're getting double dipping with this coin and with this system. And they encourage people to become scholars, provide one-on-one with other scholars to teach them how to become really, really good. So it's totally an interesting idea. And it'll be interesting to see how this one fares out. Right now, it seems to have caught off pretty good on the start. So at number 8, as you can see, we have a massive shakeup. Last week's number 1, the Museum of Crypto Art. So Mocha has fallen 3% in their return on investment over the week. And that's a shame. I really kind of liked the Museum of Crypto Art, because just the thought of putting all that art together was just, I just thought it was actually fantastic, and I thought it would be a really great experience. But keep in mind, I mean, this thing can completely rebound by next week.
yeah.
All right, so coming in at number 7 is another new one, DeFi Degen Land. So they are a gamified version of DeFi. They offer harvesting NFTs as well as hodling. One of the interesting things about these guys is they're boasting, when they do a distribution of tokens, of new tokens, they burn 97% of them. So they're looking at trying to keep their token as fairly rare, and there is a limited supply. So there is definitely a possibility of a lot of value. And this coin, DDL, has gone up 82.3% in the last week on the return on investment. So that's really, really good. Believe it or not, it's not the highest one you're going to see.
Ooh.
But it is a really good return on investment. So number 6, Axie Infinity. They were number 6 last week as well. They were up 7.1%. So that's our AXS. I think it would be fun. That one's playable right now as well, Nancy, because you can go in and make your Axies. Those little monster guys that you're going to fight, and it's almost like the horses, except for instead of horses, you've got these creatures, these monsters that you're fighting with. So,
well, you know what? I just can't even picture this. So maybe that we'll have to do that as we'll go in and we'll try it out and go down and see what one of these looks like.
Exactly. Well, it's interesting. If you were on Ken's show last week, they actually did go into one of these. I don't know which one they went into, but Ken would know. But it was really cool getting a chance to actually be inside. All right. So number 5, another one of our new coins. And we actually have 5 new coins. No, we only have 4 new coins. Sorry. This is the last of our new ones. It's Magic. It's up 77.7%. Now, they are not a specific game. They're actually an in-game currency that's used in 2 different games. So they're used in something called the Smolververse, and they're also used in Marketplace.treasure. And I think that's what makes this coin kind of interesting, is that you're sort of seeing a coin starting to branch across different games. Almost like the way like DeFi Degen Land, how it was sort of going across a couple of things. So I think this is kind of cool. Number 4 is our friend the Sandbox. So they were at number 2 last week. They fell a little bit. Interestingly enough, they still had a 9.7% increase on your ROI. And here's your friend. My neighbor Alice actually climbed from 5 back up to 3. So your neighbor came in with a plus 12.2%. Then at number 2, moving up from number 4, was Engine with a plus 13.2%. Now, interestingly enough, I've mentioned Engine a lot, and I've mentioned the Polkadot side of Engine, which is controlled by EFI. So EFI is starting to pick up some steam now. It's not on the list, but it is starting to grow, which is nice to see. And we have a brand new number 1. Now, this was the coin that was in number 10 last week, DeFi Kingdom, so Jewel. They had an amazing ROI of 100.5% over the week.
Wow.
So just absolutely killed it. So
Okay.
this,
So
Why?
why?
that's a good question. I can't tell you why. It's obviously caught on. Now, Neil, you laughed. Did you have some insight on this one?
No, it's just you keep calling them. So, I should just start investing. Start sprinkling them all over your top 10.
Absolutely. So that's
so Ken wants to know what the price of one jewel is. Does anybody know?
$13.58 right now.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So just imagine if last week you had bought a little bit into this one, you would have doubled your money. So not a bad coin to put in. And now for the stock side.
Yep.
So we've got our top 5 metaverse stocks.
Yeah.
So number 5 was the Evolve Metaverse ETF, so Mesh, one of the Canadian ones. It fell down a spot. Number 3, the American ETF, so the Roundhill Ball Metaverse ETF, META. It was 3 last week. It fell down to 4. Number 3 was actually Microsoft. Microsoft has actually been doing well this week. And they've got their hands all over the metaverse. So there are a lot of pretty much all the big tech companies in the US have their hands one way or another on the metaverse. And when we hit number 1, you'll sort of see what I'm talking about. Now, our number 1 last week was Roblox. They fell to 2. They actually did pretty good last week. I know I personally hold them, and when everything in my portfolio was pretty much red, they were the only ones who were going up to the green. They'd fall to red a little bit, but they mostly, for the most part, were in the green, which was nice. So the number 1 metaverse stock of last week, a stock that did fantastic, was Amazon.
Oh.
Amazon just kicked butt last week, and anybody who has like the CDR of Amazon, you probably have a little bit of green from that. So Amazon's been doing well a lot lately too. Now, what I'm going to add to this, it might be next week, is I'm going to actually get the ROIs in on here. Because this week where I'm doing my ambitious 5 videos in 5 days, I just haven't had time to build that in yet, but I've had a request for it. So I'll do that. It'll either be next week or the first one in January.
I love it. This is great. This is great. You know what I'm kind of doing, because I'm writing them down as you're doing them, and I'm starring the ones that keep coming up over and over again, because what I'm trying to understand is, and maybe it's because there's so many new ones, I'm trying to figure out, well, which are the ones that seem to have some longer legs, some longevity here.
Mm-hmm. And that's a good way to do it, because, like take a coin like Axie Infinity. It's been in the top 10 for a while. Engine's been in the top 10 for a while. Even
Sandbox.
My neighbor and Alice has been in the top 10 for a while. So these are the ones that are doing more consistent.
Yeah.
Because you will get some of these ones that just shoot right up. They do really, really well for a couple of weeks, and then the whole fanfare around them just completely fizzles a bit, and they head back down. But that's definitely a smart thing to do, is just sort of keep track of which is being consistent.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you for doing that for us again, Candace. I really enjoy this section. I really enjoyed this segment of the conversation. Just like Journey says, he can't wait for Ken's live stream. It's his favorite. I'm telling you, and for everybody, it's tomorrow night, not on Friday night. It's a scream. Sometimes I just sit and laugh at what's going on the screen. So, and he will post the link in both Ryan's group and the Simple Investing for Change. That's your group, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
At Facebook group, and he'll post it in our group as well, the Crypto Night in Canada. So that's super fun. Mario, that is literally so much fun to watch these guys. That's your bar room chit chat.
They set records.
They set records for how long they will stay on live. We could go to bed, have a nap, wake up the next morning, and they're still in there talking and laughing. So I don't even, there's no words for any of this. But just like Journey is looking forward to that, I always look forward, Candace, to the metaverse conversation. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Anyways, anybody got anything exciting they want to talk about before we wrap it up? I know it's a couple days before Christmas, and I know everybody's got a lot on their agenda. But anybody got anything else they want to say, chit chat, talk about, other than shortbreads?
I've been doing some digging on those passes I minted, and
Yes.
There's not a ton of information, but one of them, I went and looked on the secondary market within just Recur, which is Recur Forever, and they're listed with one of the traits that I have between $2,500 and $50,000. So there's not a lot of information about rarity, but I might have actually hit something pretty good with one of these passes.
Oh,
yeah. So they're not doing their migration or their ability to transfer the pass outside of Recur until the new year. But I'm pretty excited about that. It'd be nice to hit a win. But due to just how everything's going with me, I'm actually exiting pretty much all my crypto positions and moving to NFTs. And
That wasn't because of last Wednesday, was it?
What do you mean?
why did you bring that up? I'd forgotten about that.
Listen, the last time I hit something really hard was my thumb with the hammer.
Yeah, I'll hit your something with a hammer.
Maybe it's just over my head, but I'm just, apparently I'm slow. But no, it's as I've said in the show before, I'm a terrible trader. Like I've called things that I like, but I never buy them and then hold them at the appropriate times. Like I had Luna. I was looking at Luna. I had Luna before the crash. I sold it after the crash. I sat there and looked at it, and it's just beautiful now. And I called. I wanted to buy some Phantom, but I didn't, and all this stuff. So I'm having much more success with my NFTs, and I really do believe in the. And it sounds hilarious. The Wizard Treasured Collective that I'm staking these NFTs that I want to go and get more. So I've actually gotten out of all my Define just because it's Uniswap announced that they're going to be doing a crossover to Polygon, to Matic. So I think that really hurts Define in what they're trying to do and build. And I've sold a bunch of my root because they've delayed their product again. And I'm just redeploying, and I'm going to be probably looking to do more with the NFT side. And it's just
I think you should still call the other tokens because you were dead right on a lot of them. So I think you should still call it for the community, whether you buy it or not. You should say that project's really great.
You know what's funny is I'm just not watching it. I'm in a different area now and looking at that. And really for NFTs, so far what I've found is you've got to try and get into the community. And so I'm doing a lot more stuff on Discord and that, but it's just I'm having, knock on wood, a lot of success with Vivi. I've got a much larger collection than I ever thought I'd have, and I have more money than I've invested on.
If you wanted to, by the way, because I'm just figuring this out now that I'm on Vivi, you know me, if I can't get it out, I'm ticked, right? So with Vivi, you can't get it out, whatever. You can sell it like in seconds on Facebook at 70% value for the gems, and it'll be done like instantly, just in case you're ever trying to like liquidate a drop that you just got for some reason. They can go on any one of the Facebook groups, dude, and they will send you USDT or Bitcoin, whatever, through an escrow, and you don't even have to worry about it. Anyway, since I figured that out, I'm like on board with Vivi like no one's business. If I can ever catch a damn drop, bro.
They should be swapping it on Ledden through USDC between,
If I could.
There you go.
Yeah, but I'm just what I'm looking at is I'm going to be active and keep going for these drops. And if I can flip it, like I'm just going to hold on to this Mickey Mouse I have, because if it's similar to some of the other stuff, Yeah, I'm setting you up right now. Like, I got Mickey.
I'm watching
but-
people sell these comics and these collectibles on Facebook pages. They're like, "Oh, Venmo me $1,000, Venmo me $750." They're like, "Send me USDT," and they're like, "Okay," they're all over it. And I'm like, "Okay." There's one thing I noticed about Vivi though. If you go check out anything above uncommon, go click the auction section because that'll really give you a gauge of the sentiment of the buyer. Okay, as in anything above an X price on that thing, you'll notice, man, there's not one bid. So I've started to like not one auction bid, man, unless they're obviously the first Spider-Man, whatever. So I'm just wondering, are you finding that, like, what's with the commons, the uncommons, whatever? I'm sorry, by the way, man, Mario, if we're like bugging you on this topic, but
No worries.
okay. So what's with the uncommons and commons having such a ridiculous price sometimes compared to like the rares? Is it because of the I'm like, do people not give a shit about mint number? Like, I don't know. You tell me, man. You're the expert.
I'm really learning a lot just because I've never really been a collector. What's funny is I always have collected jerseys, like sports jerseys, but like growing up in that. But it depends. Often it's the original artwork is usually the common for the comic book, and it's in full color. And technically, the common, I guess, is the first mint, but you'd really have to have a high mint for I think it to really matter. From what I'm seeing, it depends on what people want, but I think it's preference for the buyer or for the collector. And the reason why a few weeks ago I got an uncommon, I was super pumped, and the common went way above it is because that was actually the first appearance of Wonder Woman. So that was more important than I got. I think it was a Batgirl. This was already the second appearance of Batgirl, but this was the first appearance of Wonder Woman, which is internationally, like, that is a very popular character. So it just depends on what's going on. But if you hit a secret rare comic, I'm just cruising, like, looking at them. The minimum I'm looking at is 1.2K on Vivi, and if you can move the gems into Ecomi, right, into the OMI
Well,
token,
you can't do that. That's the problem.
yeah, and
it's like,
if you could, that'd be pretty awesome, and maybe that's something that's going to happen. But with the move to Immutable X, you're going to be able to take your collectibles off of the Vivi app and then take it to numerous marketplaces. That's why they've made the migration.
okay, so he was talking about that in a recent Ask Me Anything, a recent AMA or whatever, right? But he couldn't mention the brand, or sorry, I guess the deals, the brands, the artists that were actually going to be released. But he alluded to people that were going to be released, right? I don't know Joshua Richards. That might be a totally whack name. But he kind of alluded that the licensing deals are so tight with the Disneys and the Marvels and the Coca-Colas that they're probably not moving off of VB. And it's probably going to be the independent artists. Like, I'm just wondering, does that hurt us, or what do you think, man? Just limit, because I totally believe that, again, the licensing deals are probably so damn complicated with a Disney, or James Bond, whatever. Whereas these guys creating independent art is a totally different story. But I don't know. What are you thinking, man?
I think it's a safer way to get a lot of people on board because they do have tech support and validation. And I do see people getting scammed and that, but I think that's everywhere in crypto. Heck, like I almost got scammed once, and I was just like, why would I send you a picture of my barcode? Like, I just remember thinking to myself when I was in this, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna back out of this. But I think it's a little bit safer. And the one thing about this is, like, these drops are set at very attainable numbers. So say you had a limited budget, you could actually start collecting, and if you hit, you'd be able to fund your account. But I'm more looking at it as like long term and what these collectibles are going to mean longer term. And especially, I want to try and build this collection for free almost. They keep taking the money I'm making and just keep acquiring things because I have no idea where this might go. But I think the fact that it's very structured and it's a certain place is a good thing for now because it's super new. And I think that's why they're most likely not really rushing to do anything because they've only been active since like March.
So,
right?
so Neil,
it's very young.
Is it? Would you say that this is with all the activity that's going on with BV? Would you say that means that the OMI token is really gonna is going to just totally take off and increase in value? Or are you thinking because the gems don't swap over yet to between the OMI token and what you need on the VV app? Are you thinking, what are your thoughts on that?
I think our OMI or economy is a longer term hold. It could go to where you're making money sooner, but I think if you hold it longer, it'll do better. They're onboarding new clients or customers at a rapid rate, and their licenses, like there's no one that's touching them in licenses.
Honestly, you guys know I'm not into altcoins and stuff. I'm a Bitcoin guy, a little bit of ETH.
Insane.
I was asking Tim the other day where I can get some. And the funny thing is I'm probably actually going to store it on VV because I feel a lot safer on VV as opposed to Immutable X. But I'm actually going to buy some OMI like crazy because just like what you said, dude, I'm not really a fan of NFTs. You know that. It's the licensing deals that I'm putting more faith into. So licensing deals with Disney, James Bond, Marvel, whatever. The independent artists, I think, are just going to be a bridge to open it up on the blockchain, which is going to be kind of nice. But that's literally maybe the only one that I'm thinking about buying, and I'm probably going to buy it.
So Owen's got a question, Neil. He's like, is the floor price on VV enforced? Can you sell for less, or does the app force you to sell at the dictated floor price?
Whatever you want. So I saw it on Twitter. Someone put a very valuable one up for $13, and it was just snapped up. And I think the guy was going for like $1,300, and it went up for $13. And someone screenshot it, and they're like, "Just missed it." So like, if you make a mistake and you put it through, and someone buys it, it's gone. So the floor is, I think as people get more used to the app, they're starting to use the app a little bit better and seeing what other people are asking for. Whereas previously people are just posting, I bought it for $60. If I sell it for 120 minutes later, right, I'm up. Whereas people are like, don't do that. Like if you wait and look, you could get 300 and that helps everyone get a higher value. But it takes a little bit to get used to. There's a lot of kinks, little gremlins to the app. When you're scanning and looking through, it takes time to load in that. But for how new this product is, like, man, I'd love to just throw a lot at it. It's still I was looking earlier today at like 0.006 something. So it's not even an expensive coin. And like, I'm using their product. There is a crazy loyal fan base to it. Like I like this app. I'm really enjoying it. I love that I'm profiting from it. I'm hoping long term, but there's people that are just obsessed with this. And then there's actually people that are collectors that are collecting. They have the physical. Now they're adding the digital. And
That's
some
cool.
collectors are matching the numbers of, they have the physical collector that's this. They've got now the digital collector that's this.
That's actually really cool.
So like, it's really getting detailed, and who knows where it goes. But like, I just have way more fun, so I find it easier to keep up with, and I don't see it nearly as much work. And especially with Twitter, like I just won a horse last week. I was talking with a guy in Discord, and he said if I wanted to breed with one of his horses, I just had to pay the fee, and he'd send it to me so that I could get in the racing tournament. And so like, I'm just trying to, learn the space and keep going. But I'll always probably have a few, coins. But, when I need capital, I don't think I'm going to hesitate to sell them to get NFTs and, more fun stuff.
That's amazing. Okay, before we close this off, quick round of the market. Candace, I haven't talked to you in a little bit. So where are we at with the market? And maybe Mario, if you want to jump in on this whole Bitcoin situation.
I think you guys lost your thing again. You guys went silent.
Oh,
Say it all again. Take two.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
TV talk.
Tim. So okay. So just before we wrap it up, just wanting to know Candace, I haven't talked to you in a little bit. And so usually I text her or I message her and go, where are we at? What's going on? It looks like Bitcoin's trying to do a little bit of a rebound. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong about this, and I'll just throw this out, but it appears to me that everybody that I watch on YouTube is confused by this too, because they're all saying and then backtracking and saying and backtracking and saying and backtracking. Does anybody know what's happening with the market?
Candace.
All right, just give me a second. I'm pulling up my screen.
Tell me when.
Yeah, when? All right, so we'll start with Bitcoin. This is on the 4-hour chart. So the nice thing about it is we began to have a breakout, and you can sort of see right here, it started to come up, and then it's petered out a little bit. This is not entirely bad. It still has lots of room to grow. The target for this breakout is all the way up at 52,000. So there's definitely still some chance. We just need the volume. That's been the biggest issue, is with breakouts sort of petering off because we're just not getting volume. Now the alternative is that if we had broken down, we could have went down to 42-ish. So that's a strong level of support. We would have definitely got a nice bounce off of it. But right now we're sort of in that holding pattern. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not we get a Santa rally. We're running out of time. So if Santa's got some magic, now's the time to throw it. When we look at ETH, you'll sort of see ETH itself is doing exactly the same thing as Bitcoin. Like ETH had such a potential, because this type of pattern normally does signal a reversal in the market. It normally is a half decent, like ETH should have been coming up around 4,500 if it had a full breakout. But once again, you don't have the volume, and you also have Bitcoin sort of handcuffing ETH in a way. So it's sort of following almost the exact same pattern, because if you look from one to the other,
Yep.
you'll see it's pretty much almost identical. And that's the fact that ETH and Bitcoin, they're still connected. They haven't their patterns haven't broken. So there's a deep connection. So even though ETH may have a great potential and should be doing something fantastic, when Bitcoin gets this way, it can put a damper on everything. It's sort of like throwing water on all the fires, and they're all just simmering at the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't see anything bad coming anytime soon, because we've got some momentum. We just don't have the volume. If something were to happen that we got volume, these could certainly do some interesting things. But I still don't see a lot of action before the new year and the beginning of the next fiscal quarter.
Yeah, I agree. Mario, you got any statements about Bitcoin movement at all?
I'm pretty confident that 10 years from now, Bitcoin's going to be worth more than it is now. But I'm hesitant to make comments on a shorter time frame than that. So that's all you're getting out of me there.
Classic. They'll be back in about 2 seconds.
That's oh yeah, this happens. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I don't know if what
they weren't happy with my answer. Apparently.
So,
sorry.
Ryan,
No,
don't
Tim,
give up.
we have puppy things happening. It's Tim. Sorry about that. So no.
What did you say? $1 million?
No,
Just before we cut out?
Don't be like that.
Okay, so I will say this, okay, because just because you guys know where I come from when it comes to the charts, ETH is reliant on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I believe, is reliant on the market. The news that we got in the past 2 days, which has skyrocketed our stocks, seemingly so, just at least for the past month and a half, we got really good consumer confidence numbers out of the United States. I'm just reading it right now. We got really good consumer confidence numbers. Sorry, I'm just looking at next week. Let me go to this week really quick. For the United States, core PCE prices are pretty even. Okay, GDP for the United States is up 0.2%. That was pretty good. That was above estimates, so that's nice. Crude oil inventories are doing okay for oil prices obviously jumping. The whole market was stimulated obviously by some of this economic news, but just like the S&P, NASDAQ, whatever it was, it all pulled back at the end of the day, which kind of sucked outside of a few crypto stocks and random stocks. But Candace, do you honestly believe that that little breakout outside the channel is something to get excited about? Because I'm still thinking that this is just...
No, it's not. It's nothing to get excited about yet. I don't think we're going to see a lot of movement between now and the end of the year. If anything, this year is a perfect year for tax loss harvesting. If you made some big profits earlier in the year and you don't want to pay taxes on it, well, now's the time to act.
Oh, that's a
still
good.
There's a
That's
great
a
video
good.
on your channel about that
There
too.
was a good video on your channel about
There's
that.
a really good video. It just happened to amazingly drop today on that. It complements the part that I did with Tim not that long ago on this channel as well. So watch both of those and then go watch mine.
Yeah, no, that's and you know what? And there's a psychology, Ryan, you've talked about this before in your channel. There's a psychology to the markets, and it's Christmas time and people are they're buying gifts left, right, and center. And so they're splurging on family things. Maybe people have pulled out a ton of money to go and try and take a vacation and all that sort of stuff. I know it's hard for the Canadians to understand this, but the Americans they're operating more or less like life
Calgary
is normal.
Airport hasn't been this busy in a very long time, so I'm very happy to say that without getting too deep into it. But like going forward, I'm very I like the psychology of the trader is obviously critical, at least to me. I think we're going to see a lot come our first credit card bill in January, come tax time, April, March, whatever it is. I think 2022 is really going to start showing us how bad maybe some of the retail traders really were off, because I think we're going to see weird liquidations. And if we see these weird liquidations that maybe aren't even deserved, for instance, it's going to force, for instance, large funds, ETFs to reposition at the end of the quarter, which will shift the price even further. And it's just these little tiny moves, death by 1,000 cuts almost. Not really death by 1,000 cuts, but it's little things that add up. And I'm just really curious to see, though, how 2022 unfolds after the first credit card, especially with like I just want to see these bills start rolling in.
Well, it's interesting because I had my ladies that I've been really good friends with for years. I had them last night on a chat, Zoom chat, and one of them, they're always my lipness test to how things are going. One of them works for Mount Sinai Hospital, so I always ask sort of what's happening internally, and I'll get some real good scoop there. And then the other one is works for a bank, a trustee in bankruptcy. And so all through the last 18 months, I'm like, are you busy? Are you busy? Are you busy? Are you busy? Because for me, it's a gauge on the economy. And so she said from the last time we had our little chit chat gathering, she wasn't crazy busy. Now she's run off her feet. So there's been a huge uptick in bankruptcies. And but she said, interestingly enough, people aren't filing bankruptcies. They're going more for the proposals, which is very different. And primarily so far coming out of Saskatchewan, which is, I think, interesting.
Well,
so
there's different laws regarding financing in Saskatchewan. It's kind of unique, but and I love working in Saskatchewan. Let's put it that way. It's the wild freaking West with respect to financing laws. But sorry, that got me distracted. I'm thinking about the good old days for a sec. Sorry, Nancy.
No, but the thing is it's just it's all of this is just information for everybody to process what this looks like. I'm not sure, but I think, I forget who said it, but we might have hit the top of where our inflationary pressures are going to come in, because I'm hoping, I'm not even sure I can say it definitively, but I'm hoping that by spring, the bottleneck of what's coming over from Asia will start to catch up. We're going to be slightly behind the right season for things as we get this caught up. But as all the goods start coming back over here, that hopefully, it's the law of supply and demand. When we get an influx of supply and people don't covet it, then the cost of it goes down. So I don't know. I think we're in a very funny place, and this is and I only say all this because this does affect ultimately the price of Bitcoin and ETH and all the other assets. It really does. So,
and this is the thing, is like, because people are always like, oh, when do you get in? What are we doing? It's like 99% of us are just holding Bitcoin or holding whatever for a long-term basis. And it's getting in. I think what we're talking about a lot of the times is trying to establish an appropriate buy-in period, maybe gauge our zone here. Gauge our zone here. But at the end of the day, every single one of us is a buy and pretty much hold, whether it's NFTs or Bitcoin or ETH or whatever. So it really just comes down to buy point. And for those dollar cost averaging in, good for you, man, or good for you guys, because you guys are probably doing this stress-free, whereas everyone else is trying to time the market and stuff like that. Like for me, I drive myself absolutely nuts trying to get Bitcoin down to 35 grand so I can load the boat. You know, it's like, I hate feeling like this, but I think that's all it is. In 10 years, though, exactly what Mario said, I think we're golden.
Yeah. Anyways, wanted to thank everybody for an awesome time tonight. Mario, as always, you've been a pleasure to have. We look forward to following what you're doing and keeping up with the Ledden projects, because it always makes me a proud Canadian that we're innovating and we're out front of this thing. And Candace, thank you so much again for the metaverse stuff. Ryan, Neil, for your comments and keeping us all informed on what you're doing. It's great. And for everybody that stuck it out and watched with us tonight, I hope you have a fun time with your families over the next couple of days. I know that Candace will be running a live stream on Christmas Day. Ken's going to be on tomorrow night, and people can pop on and chit chat with him, and it's hysterical. Just wish you all very, very happy holidays. Have a good night, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Later.